Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the All-Time Great series. So we've got some interesting games today in what will be a great episode. We've got Zimbabwe taking on New Zealand. That will be a tough game for New Zealand, travelling to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe got a solid All-Time Greats team. Then we've got the West Indies taking on South Africa in what will be a thrilling game as well. Both teams are needing a win in the competition to get back into contention. Afghanistan taking on India. We've got Sri Lanka taking on Australia. Oman versus Bangladesh. Ireland versus Pakistan. Can Pakistan continue their unbeaten run in the tournament? The only team unbeaten to date. The Netherlands taking on England. Now, the Netherlands have tipped over England in the past in 20 over cricket. Can they do it in 50 overs? And we've got the UAE and Scotland wrapping up the episode today. So, without further ado, guys, let's get the first match set up for the All-Time Great series. Okay, the squads are named for the first game of round 7 of the All-Time Great series. The Zimbabwe team will be first. They will have a batsman's pitch here. They've got a decent team. Flower and Campbell opening up. Brendan Taylor and Flower at 4. Andy Flower, the best cricketer ever produced. Williams and Raza at 5 and 6. Good two solid all-rounders. They'll offer a wee bit of spin with the ball. So will Flower. You got Tatenda Taibu at 7, Heath Streak at 8, Graham Creamer at 9, Ray Price at 10, and Chitara making up the 11 today. Pretty solid, very experienced team that will really challenge New Zealand here today. New Zealand's team is going to be a wee bit different, and that's coming up. Rightio, the New Zealand team is quite an interesting one. Like, they are just trying to give some other all-time greats a game. Stephen Fleming and Nathan Astor will open up the batting. A pretty formidable pair in the 90s and 2000s. Kane Williamson will be your captain at 3. Craig McMillan getting a game for the first time in this series. 28 50s, 300s, average of 28.19, high score of 117. Remember his monumental 100 against Australia in the Chapel Hadleys years ago. And he can bowl a wee bit as well, McMillan. Probably could get better numbers if you look back on his career. Probably should average in the mid-30s. But yeah, he's a solid cricketer and good addition into the team. Scott Styris is our other player. 28 50s, 400s, average of 32.49. High score of 141 there. And he took 137 wickets at 35.32, and he was very economical. So we've got Brendan McCullum. Chris Harris getting a game today. Chris Harris was another legend of our game. Pretty much very solid all-rounder. We have showcased him before. Jacob Oram in the team, Richard Hadley, Kyle Mills, and Shane Bond make up the lineup today. Without further ado, guys, let's get to the first result. And it's New Zealand winning by 106 runs in this fixture. So a good day at the office for Brendan McCullum. 101 off 73 deliveries, 15 fours, 2 sixes. 70 off 74 for Craig McMillan, 12 boundaries there. Fleming was okay at the top with 45. And cameos from Chris Harris and Oram getting New Zealand over 304. Not the best a day for the Zimbabweans. With 2 for 52 for Streak, he looked alright. 2 for 66 for Creamer. 1 for 34 for Williams was economical. 2 for 40 for Raza. So the partnerships were key. Like, Zimbabwe started off well. Like, they had New Zealand 109 for 4. But it was the partnerships with McMillan and McCullum, 83. McCullum and Harris, 46. McCullum and Oram, 60. And a good 100 for Brendan McCullum there. Zimbabwe bundled out for 198. Campbell at the top, 46 off 58. A lot of starts in that innings. They'll be a wee bit disappointed in Zimbabwe. None of them could kick on. Just regular wickets lost. Chris Harris, 4 for 29. Oram, 3 for 38. And 1 fizz for Hadley, Bond, and Mills. So, a good result there for the New Zealand side. Very hard game to pick this game. The West Indies and South Africa got star-studded lineups. Both teams desperately need to win. The West Indies have been slightly disappointing. They were dominant in the 70s and 80s. South Africa have been quite solid in the tournament to date. Without further ado, guys, let's get to the West Indies side. Okay, the team for the West Indies today. Chris Gale opening up with Desmond Haynes. Got Viv Richards at 3. Chandapal at 4. Lara at 5. We'll swap Lara and Chandapal around. I think Lara will come in at 4. 5. Shy Hope at 6 in your wicketkeeper today. We've got 2 all-rounders. We've got Carl Hooper and Bravo in the team. And we've got the 3 right-arm fast bowlers in Gardner, Holding, and we've got Mr. Patrick Patterson 90 wickets at 24.51, 6 for 29, 5-wicket bag there. Very decent cricketer and deserves a go in the all-time great series. So that is the West Indian team. The conditions sort of favour a wee bit of spin. So Hooper and Gale may get a few overs here and there, and so will Viv Richards. Without further ado, let's get to the South African team. Few changes to the South African team. We've got Hashim Amla opening up with Gary Kirsten. Gary Kirsten forged a pretty good career. 45, 50, 1300s, average of 40.95. 188 his highest score. Over 6,700 runs. Very accomplished batsman. Jarks Callis at 3. He'll provide a good round roll. AB de Villiers. We picked David Miller. He, I reckon, is a very good player for South Africa. 14, 50s, 500s. Strike rate over 100. Then we've got Mark Belcher. Mark Belcher was a magnificent wicketkeeper for the South Africans. Deserved all the accolades in his career. 26, 50s, 100, average of 28.57. Highest score of 147. Over 4,600 runs. Definitely deserves a go in this series. We've got Lance Klusener and Pollock. Probably the best two all-rounders in any all-time greats team. Then you got Imran Tahir, and then you got Stain and Donald rounding up your team today. So this is going to be a great game. Who's going to take it out? We are about to find out. So it's the West Indies putting on a show today. They win by 100 runs. A very good performance from the batsmen for the West Indies. West Indies posting 348 for 6, with Desmond Haynes 136 of 123 deliveries, 22 boundaries. Chris Gale with a 50 himself. Put on a good opening run stand with Desmond Haynes. Brian Lara, 72 of 68, 8 fours and a 6. And just good cameos. Chanderpaul, Hope, Hooper, and Bravo contributing very nicely. It's a tough day for South Africa. 2 wickets apiece for Donald Tahir and Klusener. And the partnerships were just absolutely very comprehensive. 90 for the first wicket, 125 for the third, 53 for the fourth, and 36 towards the end. Set South Africa a pretty imposing target. And South Africa really weren't in it. 248 all outs. Callis with 69. Miller with 53. And Pollock with 38. But nothing substantial. Wickets tumbled regularly. Credit to how the West Indies bowled today. 4 for 38 for Gardner. 1 for 35 for Holding. 3 for 47 for Patterson. So he did well there. And the two all-rounders did reasonably well, with Hooper a wee bit expensive, but 2 valuable wickets nonetheless, with getting the West Indies over the line there. So we'll just show you a quick glimpse of the partnerships. Look like South Africa are getting back into it with Callis and Miller, but yeah, nothing much substantial there. The run rates, as you can see, South Africa sort of dips out, and the West Indies just keep accelerating there. So good win for the West Indies. South Africa will be quite disappointed with that. Okay, both teams on 2 wins and 4 losses here, so must-win games for Afghanistan and India. India have rolled a few changes around. It'll be interesting to see their lineup today. Afghanistan will be pretty familiar looking. So without further ado, let's get to this matchup. Here is the lineup for today, guys. We've got Gurbaz and Shahzad. The captain will be Muhammad Nabi there. Shah, Shahidi, Zadarin, Shinwari, and Nabi. And then you got Rashid Khan, Alam, Hassan, and Rahman. Like, it's just the batting's a bit flaky for the Afghanistan team, but they will scramble and fight. They've got a good bowling lineup, like the world-class operators of Rashid Khan and Nabi, and then you got a decent seam attack as well when Alam and Hassan, and Mujib is a very good up-and-coming off-spinner for them. So the conditions sort of will favour a bit of spin here. Actually, we'll give the Afghanistan team a chance to operate with their world-class operators. Same with India, but without further ado, let's get to the powerful Indian lineup. So yeah, a bit of rotation in the lineups today. So Tendulkar and Sharma will open up the batting. Virat Kohli at 3 and your captain. Surab Ganguly at 4, Dravid at 5. Probably will swap that round with Rahul Dravid being more of a solid batsman and Ganguly. Gone with their keeper, Sanjay Manjrekar. 15 50s, 100. 33.23 the average, 105 his highest score. So definitely giving him a bit of a run today. Kapil Devan, another interesting selection. Irfan Pathan. 173 wickets at 29.72. Good left armour and just a handy batsman at the lower part of the order. And then you got Zahir Khan, Srinath, and we've gone with a very quality spinner in Chahal. 92 wickets at 27.29. He is still playing in today's day and age, but we'll give him a go instead of Jadeja, trying to strengthen up this bowling unit. Without further ado, guys, this will be a fascinating game. Who's going to take the victory here? And it's a thrilling game of cricket with India sneaking home by 1 run. So India posting 233 all outs with Sharma 54 and Dravid 41, Ganguly 30, 37 off 23 for Mandraker. It was a tough game. 4 for 36 for Hassan, 3 for 51 for Nabi, 2 for 43 for Rahman. They did a good job here, Afghanistan. They probably should have stolen this game. India just could not get going with their batting whatsoever. So back to the Afghan score, and they lost. Look at this. They were in control. They had 5 wickets left at 2-2-1, and they lost them for 11 runs. So India scoot home. Thanks to the epic bowling of Kapil Dev and pretty much Srinath was in, both getting 4 for 459, 4 for 31 there. Chahal 2 for 48. Shazad 64 and Zadarin 51. Shinwari 47. They did enough to win this game, Afghanistan. They really did. Like the partnerships, like there, 6-4, 1 and 0 just blew them out, big time. Just their flaky batting. We talked about it in the preview. India sneak home here by 1 run. What a thrilling game of cricket that was. Sri Lanka are playing a lot better cricket than what they used to be in this all-time great series. They had a few losses to the lower-ranked sides, but they got a formidable task today going up against Australia, who are in fine form. They are currently second on the table and will be looking for their 6th win in today's round. Without further ado, guys, let's get to the game. The Sri Lankans look really good on paper here. So we've got Marvin Adapadu opening out the batting with Tulakaratne Dulshan, Kumar Sangakkara, of course, your captain and keeper at 3. Aravinda De Silva at 4, Mahela Jayawarner at 5, and Rangatunga at 6. Jayasuriya is going to play the all-rounder role at 7 today to fit the team. He can bowl some very handy overs. 323 wickets at 36.75. Incredible amount of wickets he took. Chaminda Vas at 8 can bat a little bit as well. Then you got Mendison, Muralitharan, and Malinga making up your line. It's a lot of spin. It's a spin track. So look to Sri Lanka to play quite a few of their spinners in their game here. Australia have gone with a very interesting lineup today. We've got Matthew Hayden and Mark Waugh opening up the batting. Captain is Ricky Ponting for this game. Mark Waugh will be asked to probably bowl a few overs. Ricky Ponting obviously at 3. Steve Waugh at 4. Obviously Steve Waugh can provide some useful overs with the ball as well. Then you got Edmund Gilchrist batting in an unfamiliar position of 5, more of his round of his test position. And then you got Michael Bevan. And then we're going to give Ian Chappell a game. Like, Ian Chappell only played the 16 one-day internationals, 8 50s, an average of 48.07. You feel as though Ian Chappell would have probably played a bit more if there was more one-day cricket around the time. Then you got a very interesting selection of Peter Taylor. I decided to give them Australians another spinner since they're playing in Sri Lanka. 97 wickets at 28.25, best of 4 for 38. Peter Taylor deserving to go today with Shane Warne in the team there as well. Lilly and McGrath will make up the team. So this is a game where Sri Lanka have to win at home. Australia will be looking to sort of keep pace with Pakistan. So let's see who will get the result here. And it's Australia winning quite convincingly, 313 for 7. With the big standout, Ricky Ponting, 186 of 151 deliveries, 25 fours and a 6. Waugh and Bevan both getting 41s. It was sort of a tough day for the rest of the Australians, but Ricky Ponting, the mainstay, getting a huge score there. So Sri Lanka, they sort of battled away a wee bit there. Malinga and Vas, 1 wicket apiece, they were economical. And then Matarathan not having a good day, none for 64. Mendes 1 for 66. Jayasuriya 2 for 45. And Rangatunga 2 for 34. So they really chopped and changed their bowlers there, did the Sri Lankans. Partnerships, the key one, Ponting and Bevan 100. when they were 142 for 4 and 86 at the top for Ponting and Moore. So in response, 241 all outs. Adapadu 68, Sangakkara 80. So they had a good partnership, then it all fell apart. Mark Waugh 4 for 35, Peter Taylor 2 for 28, 2 for 46 for Shane Warne, and 2 for 59 for Glenn McGrath. So Australia do the business in Sri Lanka and keep pace with the Pakistan side. Oman are the only winless team in this competition, but they've played some decent cricket. They've been sort of restricting sides to sort of under 300, and they're not doing quite enough with the bat at times. Taking on Bangladesh today, Bangladesh playing a few different players, so you'd have to say Bangladesh should win this game, but will Oman spring a surprise? We'll find out. So the Oman team pretty much here to get a bit of experience. They haven't had too much of a one-day international history at the moment, but Masood and Singh will open up the batting. Elias at 3, Nawaz at 4, Nadeem at 5, Gould at 6, Kumar at 7, Kaleem and Laudchita at 9, Odedra at 10, and Bayal Khan at the 11. So the conditions sort of wee bit of wear and tear in the pitch. So Oman will be looking to exploit that. They've got a few good spin options. They'll be looking to take advantage of that. So Bangladesh up next. A pretty interesting lineup for Bangladesh today. Tamim Iqbal opening up with the Javed Omar. Not the greatest of one-day international average, but you got to think this guy was around when Bangladesh were trying to establish himself as a test nation. He played for 14 years, effectively 10 50s, average at obviously 23.85, high score of 85, but deserves a go because he's sort of one of the guys that sort of was there when it was tough times, and he got some runs here and there, so we'll give him a go today. Got Shakib Al Hassan, we've got Mushfiqur Rahim at 4, gone with Aftab Ahmed, 14 50s, average of 24.73, high score of 92. And he was around in the mid-2000s and played into the early 2010s. Probably could have had a bigger career, actually, just by the looks of that there too. Imral K's at 6, and he will be your keeper today, just to take a wee bit off Raheem. Mahmudullah Murtaza Razak, Hussain getting a go today, Nazmul Hussain, respectful average of 31.5, and we've got they're probably their best seamer they've ever produced, with Mustafiza Rahman with 5 wicket bags, 118 wickets at 23.27. So good game in store for us here. Who's going to be taking it out? And it's Oman causing the boil over of the episode. They're playing some decent cricket and they've taken a victory and are off the board. Bangladesh will be immensely disappointed. 292 for 8. With a light 74 of 47, 13 fours and a 6. Some solid contributions there. They batted quite deep. They went for the deeper lineup today. Bangladesh, 1 for 48 for Rahman, Murtaza 2 for 59, 1 for 51 for Hassan, 2 for 81 for Razak, 1 for 53. So the partnerships were key. Just not any big partnerships, but every partnership got a wee start here. Everyone contributed to this result here. Like, they all fought hard for the side. Bangladesh out for 176. They were skittled. They were 85 for 6, and there's no recovering from that. Mahmudullah and Murtaza tried to get things back on track, but it was just pretty much the top order did not fire. Bayal Khan 2 for 37, 2 for 32 for Masood, Kaleem 2 for 41, Odedra 3 for 43, and Nadeem 1 for 5. So Oman not going to go winless in this tournament. They upset Bangladesh. Ireland have had some history with Pakistan. Their first ever meeting in a one-day international, Ireland upset Pakistan in World Cup 2007. Some names will be featuring in that Ireland lineup today. Pakistan are unbeaten in this all-time greats competition. They've played some really good cricket, and they've got a good run of matches as well now in the next few rounds to Pakistan. So look to them to sort of consolidate their position at the top. Can Ireland spring a surprise like Oman did in the previous game? We will find out. The Irish have got a decent side today. Joyce and Sterling opening up the batting. You got Balbirnie at 3 and your captain Porterfield at 4. Probably that's probably about right. Niall O'Brien and Kevin O'Brien at 5 and 6. Kevin O'Brien, your finisher. John Mooney, not a bad cricketer. He was just a feisty character. Got handy runs and contributed handy wickets with the ball. Alex Cusack at 8. Very economical with the ball and handy with the bat. Johnson, same as well. Murtagh and Rankin, not going to be an easy side for Pakistan to topple today on what will be a seamer's wicket. Ireland will produce that for their seam attack, which is quite solid. Like, they got respected Tim Murtagh, who's played a lot of cricket in county. Right, so the next team to preview here is Pakistan, so we'll be back with their lineup. Actually, a very nice looking Pakistan side. So we've gone with the current openers for today's day and age. Fakhar Zaman has the highest ever score from a Pakistan player of 210 not out. 13 50s and 400s. And the strike rate's really good at 95.2. We have got Imam Ul-Haq. That is Inzamam Ul-Haq's son, I believe. 750s, 700s, average of 52.4. Reasonable strike rate as well. Then you got Babar Azam, your captain, at 3. Zahir Abbas at 4. Misbah Haq at 5. Java Miandad batting at 6. He's taking the gloves today. Khan and Razak as your all-rounders. So Khan, very respected Prime Minister of Pakistan as well. 33.41 is average with the bat. 26.62 with the ball. Razak has very similar sort of numbers. 29 with the bat. 31 with the ball. Wasim Akram can bat a little bit as well. Wasim Akram has a high score of 257 in Test cricket, so he can bat. Then you got Saqlain Mustaq and Waqar Yunus, so very formidable Pakistan side. Can they continue on in this all-time great series? Will Ireland spring a surprise? We're about to find out. Wow! The upsets keep tumbling in this episode. Pakistan roll for 139. The Irish repeating their performance of the World Cup 2007. So every team has lost now in this all-time great series. Pakistan, what a abysmal performance. Bit of sea movement in that around, and they've been rolled for 139 of 42 overs. Miandad 44 for Zaman at the top. But credit to the Irish, 4 for 16 for Boyd Rankin, 3 for 20 for Murtagh. Cusack 1 for, Johnson 1 for, and Mooney 1 for. But they all bowled economically, bowled as a pack, and have completely skittled them there. And just the clinical nature of their chase. They lost 2 early wickets to Wasim Akram, Balbirnie and Porterfield, 69 and 59 not out, and the best partnership by far in the game, 122. Oh boy, what a surprise last couple of games. So the lower ranked teams upsetting the more fancier sides. Pakistan dropping a crucial game in this all-time greats series. Will the upsets continue? The last 2 games have seen Oman beat Bangladesh and Ireland beating top of the table Pakistan. Netherlands do have some good history against England as well, with 2 wins and 20 over competitions against them. England will be wanting to get the win and make sure they don't slip to another upset in this round for the big top table teams. Without further ado, let's get to the Netherlands side, and hopefully you guys like the 2 teams that we've picked today. Okay, the Netherlands team, Zuiderent and Steven Myburgh. Myburgh's had relatively good success in the T20 format, and he's not a bad wee cricketer for them. 550s, 24.7, 71 is highest score in 20 over international, 250s in one-day international cricket. Small sample size, but Myburgh, we'll get a go there. We've got Tom Cooper at 3 and Tendulkar at 4. That's a pretty familiar looking 3 and 4 for them. Brazy at 5 and keeper Kravazy at 6. Then you got Michael Rippon and Roloff van der Merwe with the 2 spin options there. Then you got Stelling, Lefebvre, and Jonkman as your seam attack. So they've got a pretty decent lineup here, the Netherlands. Let's get to the England side. So England not messing around today. They're playing a pretty nice looking lineup. We'll pretty much have Strauss opening up with Bairstow. Strauss getting his first game of the campaign. 27 50s, 600s, average 35.64, high score of 158. Not a bad cricketer over time, and he was a very good captain for them as well. Then you got Joe Root and Kevin Peterson 3-4, Aaron Morgan and captain at 5. Ben Stokes at 6. Be looking for Ben Stokes to bowl a few overs today. Butler at 7. So they've got a lot of guys with high strike rates. And then you got Flintoff and Botham. Flintoff and Botham add quite an extraordinary amount of depth to their batting. And then you got Gotham Willis making up the team today. So this game should be England's, but will there be another upset in the video? So it's a pretty competitive game, but England do get the spoils here by winning by 36 runs. 275 for 7, they posted with Joe Root, the mainstay, 86 of 90. Then you had Josh Butler and Flintoff finishing the innings quite strongly with both reaching 50s. Ripon, 3 for 57. Stelling and Van der Merwe didn't bowl too badly, no wickets apiece, but economy rate's under 5. And Lafrebe and Jonkman, 2 wickets for 66 and 1 for 60 there. Partnerships, the key one was Butler and Flintoff when the Netherlands had England in a wee bit of strife. England getting to a respectful score here. And in the chase, the Netherlands sort of weren't really in it. This lost wickets at regular intervals. Krivasi 56 off 44. Myberg at the top of 43. But there's nothing of substance there. They needed 100 there to take that game. Botham 3 for 36, Willis 2 for 47, 2 for 53 for Flintoff, 2 for 62 for Stokes. So the Seamers do the job today for England, and England will move further up the board. United Arab Emirates and Scotland will round out the round here. So let's get straight to the teams. United Arab Emirates looking desperately for a second win. Scotland will be looking to get their 5th win of the campaign. They've had a very good campaign today, including their upset win against Sri Lanka. Anwar and Ali will open up the batting for the UAE. Usman at 3. Then you got Karim Khan, who's had a pretty decent tournament at 4. Swapnil Patel at 5. Mufti at 6. Mustafa at 7. Garuj at 8. Raza, Howder and Sadiq make up the lineup here. So they've got a heap of spin options in this team to try and make advantage of the pitch effectively. So Scotland up next. Let's see what Scotland have to bring. Scotland have got a pretty solid lineup here for the history. Kyle Coetzee, Cross at opening. Matt Machan at 3. Callum McLeod at 4. Callum McLeod's had a pretty lengthy career, and he's got some big hundreds in his career. 850s, 800s. So looking for him to score some runs. He hasn't got too many big ones in the tournament. He's due to go. Gavin Hamilton at 5. Preston Momson at 6. Richie Barrington at 7. Then you've got a really good seam attack that have got very respectful averages. You've got Davian Blaine, Gouldy, and Wardlaw at 10 and 11. Decent lineup for the Scots. Let's see how this game goes. And it's Scotland picking up the win by 5 wickets, so they do pick up their 5th win of the campaign. UAE through to 254. They were in a good position, then they got rolled completely. Anwar 92 off 97, 13 boundaries. Usman 83 off 70, 12 boundaries there, and just nothing else of substance. So the Seamers did the job for Scotland. Davey 3 for 55, Wardlaw 4 for 53, and Gouldy 3 for 36. Partnerships, well, there was one big partnership, well, 2 effectively, 74 and 100s. That got UAE through to 254. They'll be kicking themselves they didn't bat their overs. They could have got well over 300, and it was not enough in the end, as the Scots with Matt Machan, 86 or 71, 13 boundaries. McLeod 32 or 30, 51 or 70 for Hamilton, and 64 or 45 for Preston Momson. So a couple of 350s in that lineup for Scotland. They continued to rotate the strike, hit the boundaries when they needed to, and just a couple of solid partnerships to note, 90 and a 95 there. And they get home quite comfortably in the end, Scotland. Wow, what an episode that was, guys. So we'll just give you guys the standings after 7 rounds. So we have a new leader. We have Australia with 6 wins and a loss on 18 points. Same with Pakistan. Pakistan will be kicking themselves after losing to the Irish today. Then you got Scotland in 3rd place on 15 points. New Zealand on 15 points as well. Ireland on 15 points with their famous win today over Pakistan. Then you got the West Indies, South Africa, and England on 12 points. Then you got the Netherlands. India, shockingly that low in the competition. They were very lucky to beat Afghanistan today too, but they are on 9 points along with Sri Lanka. Bangladesh, Zimbabwe, and Afghanistan all got 2 wins. And good to see the UAE and Oman having at least a win in the campaign, with Oman breaking their duck today with that famous victory over Bangladesh. So, smash the like button, guys. Share with a friend. Round 8 will be round the corner.